It is the Litter Media Game of the Week preview show with Mike Smith. I'm Dan Ramey, and we are back in Pike County for a second consecutive week. We were at Eastern-Western last week, and this week it's down to the new C.D. Haughey Court there at the floor of the gymnasium in downtown Waverly. The building that Haughey built.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. He and John Boyer together.
Yeah. So, once again, back at it. We're jumping into the SOC again. And a lot of people are saying, why are you favoring the SOC so much back to back? I don't know that people have said that, but if that perception is the key, the SVC doesn't play Friday night. And
the boys don't.
Right. And so we have tried to juggle these as best we possibly can, our schedules of whichever game of the week we're going to do. And so we are, for the first time, able to be at Waverly this time. So that's where we're going.
Well, we had SOC 2 last week. This will be SOC 3, which you'd think it'd be the other way around. SOC 1 is the small division, middle division's 2, and the biggest division is 3.
Yeah. Was it, and when it was 1 and 2.
It was the same way.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. Small went first.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that, right?
It's just opposite of what we're used to, Division 1, 2, 3, and 4, yeah.
That is true. But that's how it goes. All right, speaking of Divisions 1, 2, 3, and 4, we have the OHSAA with their RPI rankings. Take a moment, because we're going to go through them for you, but take a moment to give people an idea of what this is all about.
Well, in the past, with any tournament draw in the state of Ohio, the coaches would seed the teams, and then in some instances, like in the Central District, the way it used to be in the Southeast District many years ago, you could elect where you wanted to go on the ballot or the bracket. Well, in recent years, they went to NCAA seeding, which meant however you ended up in whatever seed number, you automatically went on the bracket. Mm-hmm. Well, that, I believe, is still the case. That's on a case-to-case basis for whatever district you're in. The only thing that has changed uniformly is that the coaches will no longer vote on the seed. That's going to be based on what's called the RPI, which is a rating index based on how big the school is that you played, your opponent's record, what your record is. In some ways, it's comparable to the computer football rankings, only that in basketball, everybody gets to go to the tournament. Mm-hmm. But it will seed that out for you based on your strength of schedule.
Unlike football, you don't get points for victories, you don't get credit for other people, but you have your record compared to how your opponents have done and your opponents' opponents.
Correct.
To give you kind of a strength of schedule.
Yeah. And I think maybe some folks will be surprised when we do show them later in the show how some of the teams are ranking. You might be third in your league, but you may be ahead of the team that's leading you in the conference based on your overall record and who you played. So.
Yeah. And unlike the Associated Press or the types of polls we have seen over the years, this is not a state. It is a statewide, but it's broken down by districts. So Correct. You don't have Toledo Waite competing against Chillicothe. Correct. In that respect. But Chillicothe is in that central district, and so it has to compete with all the Division I teams up there. So we'll run through that later in the program. Also coming up in the program, we will hear from Coach Kyle Bradley of the Waverly Tigers. He's standing by in a conversation we had with him yesterday. And we'll give you an update on the South Webster situation because it's not a normal circumstance, and we will share details with you there on that in a bit. And our Neil Coleman Insurance-Wyandot Mutual Insurance Litter Media Player of the Week. Who's that going to be? So far, only 3 or 4 people know. Everybody will find out, though, this hour here on the Litter Media Game of the Week preview show. Coming up in a moment, we will get you ready for Waverly and South Webster. That's on the way next.
At Country Clipper, pride runs deep. We take pride in knowing our mowers help create a space for families to make memories. That our features transform mowing into an enjoyable experience. Most importantly, we take pride in knowing the decision to purchase a Country Clipper will be one you can be proud of for years to come. Country Clipper zero-turn mowers.
If you can't give true love to me, I'll understand. Just
It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Michelob Ultra.
Wherever you are, you're there for a reason. You shouldn't have to make a trip to the branch just to deposit a check. Skip the trip and use our mobile app to easily and securely deposit checks from your phone. Day or night, wherever you are, or whatever you're doing, download the Kingston National Bank Mobility app today.
At Rathkamp Financial, we act as your advocate in all wealth matters. We believe in long-term relationships and working to earn your continued trust with our customized investment solutions. Our greatest satisfaction comes from working with clients for many years and helping them realize their dreams.
This week's Litter Media Game of the Week has the South Webster Jeeps coming to Waverly to take on the Tigers. Both these teams suffered losses this past Tuesday night.
Yeah, the Jeeps had gotten out to a perfect start, but have lost their last two games. Their head coach, Norm Person, has been ill and has not been able to be with them. Ryan Fenton, one of the assistants, has been kind of put into that interim position. And Norm, we've known him for many years. And Norm, if by any chance you're watching this or listening in, we wish you well and want to see you back on the sidelines sometime very soon.
700-plus career victories.
Yeah.
And chasing 800.
Yeah.
So, all right. Thoughts are certainly with him. Kyle Bradley has not coached that many games.
No.
Has probably played in closer to that number as a player in his JV coaching days at Upper Sandusky and more. But had a chance to catch up with him yesterday to get the latest on what's going on with the basketball Tigers. Good to see Kyle Bradley again. It's been a while. I had the opportunity to catch up with you when they dedicated the floor to Coach Hawhee a few weeks ago. You're battling with Jackson that night. You've had some success along the way of this campaign, but I know the most recent sting is what happened with Wheelersburg on a Tuesday night. Let's start there, Coach. How did things go for you, and what is the status of your ball club right now?
Yeah, so obviously a tough one last night. You know, Wheelersburg's got a good basketball team, really athletic, well coached, really put a lot of pressure on you defensively. I thought at times we handled those things really well. You know, we didn't have a great first quarter, 19-9 and down 10, and that's the difference in the ball game at the end. But, when we've handled adversity really well throughout the season. And I thought we did that again last night. We cut it to 5, 3 different times, just weren't able to get any closer than that. So we got to get back in the gym tonight and fix some things as we move into South Webster. Status of the basketball team, I think we're in a pretty good place mentally and physically. The older guys have done a great job of buying into the culture, being great leaders, establishing roles. And that's helped our youth and our young guys try to figure out how to play varsity basketball on the fly. They've done a good job to this point, and credit to them, of giving themselves an opportunity to play in some really big basketball games as we start conference play with having early success. And that's exciting as a coach and as a player. You want to play in those type of environments. So we've really looked forward to this week, and, we look forward to the opportunity we have on Friday night.
Quickly on Tuesday night's game, you've been around the game long enough to know that if you're down by 10 in the first quarter, you still got 3 quarters to go. But you have to do things right to be able to cut into that deficit and to get those second chance points and an opportunity to climb back into it. But it's your kids, they're having some success that they didn't experience last year. And I got to think that's given them a good confidence boost.
Yeah, we've had a lot of really close games early on. I mean, we started the year in overtime. we've won a lot of tight games. So I think if we can keep games close, that really helps us out. We've been in those situations. Last night getting down 10 early, then you start wondering, that doubt starts to creep in when you haven't had success for a consistent period of time. If you belong on the court necessarily against certain opponents, and we went, I feel like we kind of go through that in stretches. Some guys let doubt kind of creep in a little bit, but we're able to battle, see the ball go in the hole. Defensively, we've been really solid all year, and that's what we hang our hat on. We've been, that's why we've been into tight games and close games. Offensively, we're still trying to figure things out and consistently perform on a night in, night out basis.
Now your kids that have been around for a while, they've had the enjoyment of going to a Final Four, experiencing what that's like. And the kids that were in Biddy Ball, when Travis Robertson was there as head coach, they still have all of those fundamentals that they learned there. Yes. Have you seen that a good transition for you now, 2 years removed from having Coach Robertson there?
Yeah, I mean, obviously a lot of that talent and a lot of those pieces left the gym after that season. So there was some guys in the program that year that were able to enjoy that and experience that success. Obviously we have a few new faces that weren't here when that took place. And sometimes when you have a rough year, you start to question things as far as them last year. We haven't spent a whole lot of time talking about that just because, this is new season, new staff, new culture, a lot of new pieces. So we just kind of tried to establish our own identity. But for us coaches, I've, tried to tell them we don't have to look too far back to see success at Waverly and in the program and the consistency that Coach Robertson had here for 15 years. So we don't have to go really far to go searching for things to hang our hat on. We just have to get back to, being tough and hard-nosed kids.
And downtown gym, let's be honest, it's not an easy place for opponents to play. So you created an atmosphere, and that tradition has been there. And despite the difficulties of last year's season, not experiencing wins like Waverly have been used to, it's still a tough place to play and a really fantastic arena to step into.
Yeah, I think it can be a tough place to play. I also think a lot of people enjoy coming and playing here because of that atmosphere and the facility itself. I mean, it's in my opinion, it's the best facility in Southeast Ohio. So what an opportunity for us to coach and practice and play in there every single day. But I think opponents got times to look forward to coming into there. You play tournament basketball games there, so they look forward to it. But if we can make it a tough place to play by being a hard-nosed team and a team that plays hard for 32 minutes, that type of basketball team, I think it can definitely be a place that opponents don't like to come to.
Hey, you walk in and you see those intimidating tiger eyes looking at you at both ends. Yeah. That lasts for a little bit of while. Then it matters who's in your shoes.
Absolutely.
On toe to toe. South Webster, they have experienced a couple of tough ball games themselves here recently, a couple of losses. We know that Coach Person has not been with the team the last couple of games, and I'm sure there's emotions there for the kids thinking about their head coach. They're going to have a lot of pride to play for when they come into Waverly Friday night. What will you need to do to be able to come away with a win?
First off, the coaching staff and myself and the team, our thoughts are with Coach Person. Hopefully he gets healthy and gets back there for those guys. Just watching them throughout the year, Coach Person's been definitely a steadying force for them. And they've played a lot of really good basketball. We know we're getting a hungry team coming in to face us, a team that's been in some tight games with two really good basketball teams in our league. At the same time, we have a hungry basketball team that, wants to get to 2-1 in the league. And, our league is so tough. You have to take advantage of opportunities on your home court. So this is one that we have to play well in. We have to be ready to go. And we just have to clean a few things up. Last night we were in the game at multiple times and just a few turnovers here, a few offensive rebounds given up or not, knocking down open shots. We have to take advantage of opportunities against a really good team in South Webster on Friday night.
We talked a little bit about this last week with both coaches involved in SOC play. We had Eastern and Western last Friday night, and the SOC didn't get its true new conference alignment schedule started until last Friday.
Yeah.
What's that been like to play almost half your season and then the conference games begin?
Looking at our schedule, daunting moving forward, obviously, with our side. You like to try to break up that conference play as much as you can, because especially in ours right now, talking to Wheelersburg coach last night, he feels like this is the best the conference has been in a long time. So night in and night out, you're getting challenged, and having so many non-conference games early. And we just played West last Friday. We turn around and play them here shortly, just having 6 teams on our side. So there's going to be some quick turnarounds, a lot of common, a lot of common opponents, a lot of knowledge of the team that you're playing. So you're going to have to be able to execute. You're going to have to do things well to come out with victories.
And who knows, it may be 2 losses to win the conference this year. It's just so good top to bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I don't think it's going to be a conference this year where a team goes undefeated. I mean, there's a lot of really good teams, and if you would ask people early who they thought, I think a lot of people had South Webster circled as a team that could win the conference, and definitely could still win the conference, and they're starting out 0-2. So it's going to be a battle to the finish, and hopefully we can be a player in that.
we will be at the downtown gym for you, and those watching, remember, we'll take the air about 7:15 or so. And Coach, thank you for your time today. Good luck, and we'll see you again Friday night.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Kyle Bradley of the Waverly Tigers, and one of the things that when you start talking about that, you and I discussed this earlier about the SOC crossover games are already done, and now it's just straight conference action back and forth. We can take a look at it. I think South Webster has had to face Wheelersburg and Minford, and then, boom, here comes Waverly. Waverly had Wheelersburg last week. They got South Webster, and it's like they're beating up on each other early on. And Minford right now, it seems to be a leg up on everybody.
Well, they and Wheelersburg both are 2-0
right
in the league, and then
but on an overall aspect,
yeah. But Berg and Minford have to play each other the first time yet. So
yeah, so it's just one of those conferences. I like it. It's really exciting. So what do you have for us on South Webster?
Well, they have 3 kids that are averaging in double figures in their first 11 games, 9-2 overall. Eli Roberts, he is a 6'7" junior. He's averaging 26 points and 9 rebounds per ball game. The next leading scorer at 14 points and 6 rebounds a game is Tyler Summers. Summers is a 6'3" senior. There's some size on this club. Jack Timothy, he is a 6'4" senior. He's averaging just under 10 points per ball game at 9.7. And then they've got Schubert at 7 points, Malt with 6 points a game. So there's several players there that are capable of double figures. But as we talked a little bit earlier, after a 9-0 start, they've lost their last 2 games, which happened to be the first 2 conference games. That was a 71-61 loss to Wheelersburg a week ago Friday, and then they fell to Minford 58-55, who we've just already told you currently is the 2-0 teams in the SOC Division III.
And for Waverly, they've got a lot of youth. They've got some kids back from last year, but a couple of they call them the Twin Towers. That's what they've kind of been, but they're not 6'7", 6'8" yet, but they're freshmen. And they could turn into something a little taller in that respect. And maybe we'll be saying they are Twin Towers at some point in time.
Yeah, but to be 7-4 at this point and 1-1 right in the thick of things after some tough competition, you get that little seasoning earlier. Maybe they'll hit a little confidence string. But the Tigers, they don't have anybody 6'7", but they do have some size of their own. So.
And that 6'7" will challenge. I mean, if you're averaging 26 points a game, you got to do something to slow him down.
Exactly.
As best you can. All right, so that is our Litter Media Game of the Week coming up Friday night. For those of you that can't be there, listen in on Litter Media Radio. How do we find Litter Media Radio? Well, simply, I'll give you an opportunity right now. If you see that QR code, scan that with your smart device, and next thing you know, you are finding Litter Media Radio, which is on the air right now. And if you want to go the old-fashioned way, just go to littermedia.com. We have a link that takes you right there at the top, says Litter Media Radio. Coming up in a moment, the RPI rankings for the state. We'll share our local teams in the district here coming your way in just a moment, right after this, on the Litter Media Game of the Week pregame show.
Find a career you love with Pickaway Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
I was looking for a first job. I had been babysitting and decided it was something for a little more permanent. It pays very well. It's convenient. You can make your own schedule with the flexibility. That's something that I like. The people that I work with are great. I wouldn't ask for a better crew or management team to work for.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When ensuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
You haven't had vodka soda like this. No one has. Made with the world's smoothest vodka plus real juice. New White Claw Vodka Soda.
All right, something new for us is the OHSAA, together with Max Preps, have an RPI ranking. This is new to everyone. Coaches have to put their information into this system in order for it to be able to show up properly. So that's been probably one of the challenges for some of these coaches, because they're, let's be honest, some of our older coaches, they give all that to the younger guys and say, get it done, and who knows what else the younger guys are having to do too, you know.
Yeah, you don't have to put the individual, your player stats, but you got to put what you did, won or lost.
Yeah, or else this system doesn't work the way it's intended to.
Yeah, and if you don't do that, you're going to get hammered come tournament time with the seeding.
And that's when they'll find out it's too late.
Yeah, too late. Yep.
So let's take a look at it. We're going to start with the girls here, and the way we're going to walk you through this, and this is for this week only, we're going to go through from Division I down to Division IV, and we will go Division I and start with the Central District because we have no D1 schools in the Southeast District. So here we go. No music involved. We hate to share that with you in that fashion, but can you read all those from here, Mike?
Yes, but the local teams in our coverage area, you got to go all the way down to Tease Valley Lady Vikings. They come in at the 15th seed as of now. Their overall record would be on the far right. All those other numbers are calculations based on your strength of schedule, what their record was, and so forth.
But we wanted to give folks an opportunity to see what that looked like. And here's the Central District D2 teams. You see Granville's up at the top there. And trying to think.
Carroll fourth.
Yeah. And these are schools that our D2 in the Southeast District will be seeing in the tournament trail.
But not until the regionals.
Right.
Yeah. There you see Hamilton Township coming in number 16 out of the Mid-State League. And this is Division 2 for Southeast District. Looky there, Sheridan, Fairland, Circleville, and Circleville's undefeated, but yet they're third seed. Marietta, Uniota with only one loss, they're at number 5. And you say, well, how can that be? Yes, while Uniota is playing some non-conference D1 schools, they're also playing some small SVC schools that frankly don't have the best of records. And that's kind of pulling them down a little bit currently. And again, this will change from week to week. Athens, they're in the top 7. So is Jackson, Gallia Academy at 10th, and so forth down the line.
But again, that plays into that as you see the header across the top. Winning percentage, opponent's winning percentage, and opponent's winning percentage. And that's where all that factors in.
Exactly.
And this is D3 Central District.
Not quite as many area teams that we follow that show up in D3. Amanda Clear Creek should be in there somewhere.
Yes,
number 4. Okay. And they had that. They're kind of like a South Webster team. They had a 6-0, 7-0 start, but they've fallen on some hard times. I think they've lost 3 of their last 4, but currently at 10-3 on the season. Now this is Division III out of the Southeast District. Portsmouth, number 1. Of course, they got a lot of points and numbers based on that big win over Fairland here the other day. But Adena, they're at number 2. North Adams with a very strong team this year. They're at number 3. That's Portsmouth West at 4, Peebles 5, and then Minford and other area teams on down the line.
And in D4 in the Central District, a number of our Fairfield County area schools are involved here.
Fisher Catholic, I thought they were undefeated. They're not. They're 10-2, but they beat Division I Hartley by a pretty good score. Actually, Hartley is Division II by 13 last night. So Fisher Catholic, very, very strong out of Lancaster.
And here's your Southeast schools.
Waterford, who was a state champ just a few years ago, they have only 1 loss on the season. Portsmouth Notre Dame, an outstanding year. They only have 1 defeat thus far. And White Oak at number 5, Valley, and so forth down the line.
And now let's take a look at the boys. And we start, again, Division I, Central District.
Yeah, looking down the line at any Tease Valley, of course, who's leading the Mid-State Buckeye with a 7-2 overall record, but they're number 10 in D1 for the Central District this week. And this would be
D2 Central.
D2 Central.
So you got Bloom Carroll at 4th. Looking down through here, see Hamilton Township at 11th, London there at number 10. So a number of, again, these schools you'll see at the regional level when the tournament begins there. But our Southeast District D2 schools, Washington Blue Lions on top.
Yeah, New Lex, Marietta with a strong 10-1 record. Miami Trace, who actually beat Washington Courthouse here about a week ago, but they're number 4. You don't see, of course, Jackson, they're number 8. Circleville 9.
Vinton County 6 there.
And Unioto all the way down to 12.
And this week's game of the week has the Waverly Tigers at number 11 there. And your D3 for the Central District.
Looks like
Harvest Prep is a team that someone from the district's going to meet probably. They're at number 5.
Yeah, Liberty Union, who we saw against Tease Valley a few weeks ago, number 13.
And here's your Southeast District teams at D3.
Minford, Wheelersburg, Portsmouth, just like a train coming at you. Bang, bang, bang. 2 of those, the top 2 teams, obviously out of that SOC 3, who we just talked about here a little bit ago. Ironton, Adena has won 6 straight. They're at number 10. But what we were talking about a little bit earlier, Zane Trace, who's undefeated in the conference of the SVC, they're 15. But their overall record, it says 4-5 here because this came out before their last game. They're 5-5 right now. But as you can see, it's based on the overall record and who you're playing.
And your D4 teams in the Central District.
And looking down the line there as far as our coverage area, Fisher Catholic at number 10 out of Fairfield County, Lancaster, of course.
And Fairfield Christian Academy is in there too. So, and then your D4 teams from the Southeast District led by, South Webster, featured this week on Letter Media.
Yeah, so looking down the line there's Eastern, number 10. I was really impressed with Eastern. The kid that was our player of the game, that must have been a breakout game for him.
Oh, yeah, TGA Richards.
Yeah, so if you get somebody like that can play that way consistently, that adds a different element to your team. So I really think Eastern Pike can have a league championship type season in SOC2 and maybe put a nice tournament run together at the end of the year.
You know, and one of the things we didn't talk much about last weekend was that the Tomlinson kid decided to step away from basketball, and as a freshman, he ruled the inside game. He's a big-bodied kid and had some quick feet. Offense, defensive player of the year, wasn't he? I think
right
from football.
Mm-hmm.
So found himself deciding he's kind of lost his love for basketball, decided to concentrate on indoor track. So he's throwing the shot and discus in the indoor track during the winter season. Had a chance to catch up with his dad, Scott Tomlinson, head football coach, and we learned a little bit more about what he's doing during this off season from football. All right, so there's your RPI rankings to give you a first look at them. And again, you can always go to the Ohio High School Athletic Association's website. And I think you've got a link, don't you?
Yeah, always. We'll always have, just like with the computer rankings every week, we'll always have a story on LitterMedia.com, so you can go right through there and find the exact same links that you would if you went directly to the OH. We'd appreciate you going to our site first.
Sure. To let us be the gateway to the OHSAA.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Tim Street will be happy about that, I'm sure. All right, he's with the OHSAA. Coming up in a moment, our Neil Coleman Insurance-Wyandot Mutual Insurance Litter Media Player of the Week. Who's it going to be? We'll share on our social media, but we're going to talk about him coming up right after these words on the Litter Media Game of the Week pregame show.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When insuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
Find a career you love with Pickaway Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Michelob Ultra.
Each week, Litter Media presents the Neil Coleman Insurance-Wyandot Mutual Player of the Week. If you have an athlete to nominate, any amateur athlete is eligible. Simply visit littermedia.com and click on Player of the Week. At the end of the year, we'll announce the Player of the Year. Make your nominations now at littermedia.com. Click on Player of the Week. Now, we have completed 2023, and we have had a bit of a snafu with getting the award. That we've been waiting on the award, plus our friend who's putting it together was ill. So all that combined, we have selected a Player of the Year, and we will divulge who that is next week. We're hoping to get a look at the award today.
Oh, great.
So that's the hope. But we want to make sure we have representation from Neil Coleman Insurance in with us, and we hope to be able to have the player with us for that actual presentation. We'd like to do it live, maybe during next week's show or another segment. So stick close for that. So we're holding true to our word. We do have a Player of the Year coming, and we've already learned in this first stage of how to do it for 2024.
Yeah.
So that it's a little closer to the year. So, yeah, we're only 11 days into the new year, right? So why not still take a look? I mean, they're having the Emmys, and they just had the Globe Awards, right? So,
and the Academy Awards, that's a month or two ago.
And the Grammys and everything. So, so everybody else does it. Why can't we, right? So that is coming your way, hopefully next week for you here on Litter Media. But right now, let's tell you who this week's Player of the Week is. Drum roll, please.
I wasn't a drummer.
We can tell. It is Mavrick Smith, who is a wrestler for the Huntington Huntsmen, and he is off to a 23-0 start this year.
Wow.
He also has surpassed 150 career victories. And according to what we have learned from Coach Mark Depew, he said he's highly energized and engaged in our Biddy Youth Wrestling program. He leads the youth practices and coaching the youngsters during tournament competition as well, along with his dad, who's assistant high school coach, Andy Smith. And Mavrick attends Pickaway Ross Career and Technology Center. He's learning to become a welder. He also is a member of the May Drug-Free Clubs of America and Huntington's cross-country and baseball teams. Congratulations to Mavrick Smith, this week's Neil Coleman Insurance-Wyandot Mutual Insurance Litter Media Player of the Week. If you want to make a nomination, what do you got to do, Mike?
Well, you can go right to our website. There's a way you can get on Player of the Week. It's got a link right there. That's basically our email that you can send a name. But if you could, make sure you throw some stats in there with it that help us to gauge who we think that should be the Player of the Week based on those nominations.
And if you're wondering why was Dan distracted, there's a moment looking over. I was just posting it on our social media. So it's now available. You can share and tell people and congratulate Mavrick on your own. All right. Thank you again for watching for that announcement today. Coming up, final comments as we prepare for South Webster and Waverly, our Litter Media Game of the Week. Details next.
Kingston National Bank was founded in 1909 by local businessmen. The concept of a local bank supporting our community's financial needs with local decisions made sense. This is Phil Evans, President and CEO of Kingston National Bank. I invite you to make KNB your bank. We continue to make local decisions that benefit our communities. Experience innovative products and excellent customer service. When you need us most, you can count on KNB. Our community, your bank. Kingston National Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
Whenever I first applied for the Archways opportunity, do I have to pay this back? Do I have to do that? Like, is it a loan? And it's not. It's a scholarship. A goal of mine is to graduate college debt-free. If you're a crew member, you get $2,500 a year, and if you're a manager, you get $3,000. And especially if you're going locally to college, like to the branch or something like that, it's really helpful.
At Rathkamp Financial, we offer customized investment solutions and superior client service. We believe in long-term relationships and working to earn your continued trust. Our greatest satisfaction comes from working with clients for many years and helping them realize their dreams.
Now that's one fast mower. Take command of your lawn with Dixie Chopper, the world's fastest lawnmower.
All right, we are getting ready to hop into the van and head south.
Brum, brum. Yeah.
Going down to Waverly. It's the Waverly Tigers and the South Webster Jeeps. Now, those of you that are watching the program live now on a Thursday, we're not leaving this early.
Right.
But for those listening to the program on Litter Media Radio, on game day, yes, Mike and Tom, I'll just go over and meet you there since I live in Pike County.
We made this statement on the air last week. I'd only been in the Western's new gym one other time. That's when we did the video for graduation. But we weren't in the press box. That is one of the nicer gymnasium high school press boxes I think I've ever been in 40-plus years.
Yeah. Challenging to get into.
I've had much worse. Do you remember
at
the old Portsmouth High School?
Yes, sir.
Now that was a crow's nest.
Truly. And the old press box at Western's old gymnasium was also rickety and crickety. One of the more unique ones that I've ever been inside of a high school. Mm-hmm. Now, you view them to the Fairgrounds Coliseum.
Yeah, I've been there too.
That's a trip.
Yeah.
But at Upper Arlington High School, there is a box that they built, I don't know how many years ago, but it hangs over top of the visiting bleachers. And you have to walk through the bleachers to get to it. And there is you've seen, remember Home Alone? Mm-hmm. And the ladder comes down. The ladder comes down and then it unfolds. Yeah. And then you walk up that ladder and then you climb into the crow's nest. And you are probably, I'm guessing 10 feet away from the floor. Mm-hmm. as far as looking down on it, but you're over top of all the fans and everything.
Yeah.
And the thing about having a crow's nest like that, nobody ever does housekeeping. And there is dust everywhere.
Yeah.
And you can't come away without needing to wash your hands and the whole deal. So,
yeah, it was really nice.
Trying to get Tom Cuppet up in there one day was it was a chore.
Yeah.
And I'm like, careful, Tom. He's belly aching the whole way up every
I
step.
I can hear it.
Because he remembers those Upper Arlington Chillicothe matchups. But now they put you on the floor, so that's nice.
Yeah,
that's
and
nice.
and Waverly's downtown gym setup is excellent too, because we're down on the front row. So,
and they always take care of you too.
Only problem is people walking past you, all the time.
And you have that at Southeastern. You have that.
Well, actually, at Southeastern, you're up like 3 rows, so you're looking over there.
True. But still, you have people coming, and it's really neat. And I'm not complaining about this, but when you're doing the game, people will come by and they want to talk to you.
Oh, yeah. You're trying to do a job.
And you're trying to keep on going. But it is neat to be able to say, hey, how you doing? Haven't seen you for a while, and the whole deal. So, we love doing this. So looking forward to it again at Waverly inside the downtown gym. And Mike will get his first opportunity to see C.D. Haughey on the floor.
Do they have it painted on there yet?
It is a temporary design.
Okay.
From what I'm told, they will be resurfacing the floor, if not this year, next year maybe, and they'll have a different design that is to stretch down the entire sideline on both sides of the court.
Gotcha.
So that should be pretty cool. All right, that's it for the program today. Thank you so much for watching. Those of you listening on Liter Media Radio, game time coming up about 7:15 on this Friday. So for Mike Smith, and for Aaron Glandon, who is off today, the normal producer for this program, I'm Dan Ramey. We'll talk to you soon at a gymnasium somewhere in Southern Ohio. Looking forward to it. Thanks for watching.